Hi guys, I'm a Forester here. This time of year is a great time to just review our different collections, whatever they may be. In particular, I've enjoyed watching videos of other people's watch collections during the Christmas season, and I thought I'd do one of my own. Now, my collection is very modest. I only have one watch that I would consider a grail watch or an upper end watch. All the others are very affordable. And so I've divided them into two groups, the battery-powered watches on the left and the mechanical or automatic watches on the right. I have 5 of each. Now, one is not showing of the mechanical watches or the automatic watches because it's in my pocket. So I'll go through these very quickly. I've got them organized, like I say, the battery-powered on the left, automatic on the right, and I've also got them organized by price with the cheaper ones to the left, and they go up in value as you go to the right. So I'm going to reposition the camera and then we'll get started. Now before we get started, I forgot to mention that all watches were synced one day ago. So after 24 hours, all of these battery-powered watches were spot on. 2 of the automatic watches were spot on, and the one that was the farthest off was around 17 seconds too fast. You might be surprised which one that is. So let's get started, and I'm going to reposition the camera on the first watch so that it stays in focus and you get a better look at it. There, I think you'll be able to see them. I'll zoom out just a tad. All right, this is my Casio Scepter, and the model number is 5161. The things I like about it: one, it's solar charged, so I don't have to worry about it stopping. It syncs to the time radio wave every night, so even though the watch may or may not be that accurate, it's always reset every night, so I can depend on it. It's one that I set my other watches to, actually. 3, I like the fact that it has alarms. So I set 3 alarms for the day: 1 to wake up, 1 to start work, and 1 to end work. It has a digital display of day and date, which I like that. And it has timers and stopwatch also. Now, there are some things I don't like. One is that the bracelet is very cheap. They could have done a little bit better on the bracelet. And it has a weak light, which is just a little bulb down at the bottom. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Yeah, you see it come on. And that's such a weak light that you can use it for at night, but it's not the clearest in the world. Now, I use this watch as my yard watch and sometimes my night watch. This is my Seiko Solar, and the model number is V158-0AD0. Let me see if I can just hold it to the camera and give you a better look. Now, I have videos of each one of these, so if you want to look at them closer and in more detail, you can do that through my channel. So the features that I like: one is that it's solar charged. Don't have to worry about it stopping. It has a day and date on it. I like the color, so gold looks better on my skin tone, and so this is one of the best. This watch probably looks the best on my wrist as any watch that I have. It's very reasonably priced, and it's very accurate. The things that I don't care for is that the lume is very weak. It does have lume, but it's very weak. I can't really see it at night very well. And of course, it doesn't have alarms. And I use this watch as a daily wear. I put it in rotation with the others, but the thing I like about it is it can serve as a dress watch. Okay, next up is my Casio GShock. Let's see if it's going to sit up for me. I think it will. Okay, this is model number 5525, and it's roughly $100 more than the Scepter, if you want to use that as a comparison, both made by Casio. It's similar in features to the Scepter, but it's just beefier. Things that I like: one is the color combo black and red. It's very accurate. It's solar charged. It has the day and the date on it. It also has alarms, and I use them similarly to the alarms on the Scepter. It has timers and stopwatch, but the features I don't care for is that one, you need to keep, or I need to keep the manual handy, because when I need to reset something or adjust something, I usually have to go back to the manual to figure out how to do it. And the light on it is very dim. Let's see if you can even see it. So you can see it come on, but it's very dim. So this is my NC State watch. Their colors are red and white and black. And I always have it on my wrist whenever I go back to my alma mater there. Okay, this is my favorite of the battery-powered watches. So this is my Citizen Perpetual Chrono AT Eco Drive. That's a long name, but it's my very favorite watch of any of these battery-powered watches. It costs roughly $50 more than the GShock, just for comparison. Now, my features that I like on it, one is the weight. This, I think, is the heaviest watch that I own, but it's a good weight. I think a heavier watch feels better on my wrist. It syncs with radio time signal, so it's always accurate. It has the day date on it. It has alarms. It has multiple time zones, so when I'm traveling, if I cross a time zone, I can reset it to that time zone. And the things that could be improved is the light. So the light is just so-so on it. Okay, and my last battery-powered watch is this one right here. But this is my Samsung Galaxy Watch 4 Classic. And it's the most expensive of these digital watches. So it's the second smartwatch that I've owned. It's the only watch that I haven't reviewed. So on my channel, you've never seen this watch reviewed. And there's a reason for that, which I'll get to. But smartwatches, I think, have replaced my Fitbit. I used to carry Fitbits, and I ran through several of those. But I don't have a Fitbit now, but the smartwatch takes its place. I bought this one during COVID to measure my blood oxygen. The features I like about it, and there is a lot I like. One is the notification. So let's just see if we have a notification. There's usually a red light over here if I have one, which I don't right now. But I find that very convenient, so I don't have to keep watching my cell phone to see if I have a notification. It comes up on the watch. It's good for step counting, so I don't have to use a Fitbit. It counts my steps for me. And it has excellent night vision, so you can just tell, and it will come on with movement, but it has, it's very easy to read at night, so that's a big plus. There's a lot of other apps, you might call them, on it, and I can just scroll up through some of them. There's just more than I could possibly use. And so anyway, that is a positive, and I do use some, like for health or for timers and health monitoring or timers, but there's just more than I can possibly use. So I've already gotten into the things that I don't particularly like, and that's that it has too many features or apps to use. I don't have to use them, and I don't, but that tends to be a negative. And the big negative is the battery. So that's the thing that I think keeps smart watches from growing more, is that the batteries just don't last nearly as long. This one I think is supposed to last 3 days, but it doesn't. And I tend to charge it up every day and a half or so. All right, so those are my battery-powered watches. Now let's move on to my automatic watches. So this is my deep blue orange diver. It's the cheapest of my 4 automatic watches. I bought it after watching a YouTube review of it. I think it was by Nut and Fancy. It impressed me then, and so I went ahead and got one. The features I like about it is, one, it's accurate. So I've measured it, and I'll show you. Let me get one of the watches, this one here, and show you how I compare. You can look at the second hand and see at the time that I did the comparison, this watch was, let's see, yeah, less than 1 second per day off. It also has the date on it. It's very legible. I like how clean the dial is. It has fairloom, so I can wear this at night and not have a problem seeing it. It could be better though. The things that could be impressed, I may have actually already mentioned, but it could have a day complication on it, which I prefer the day and the date. The quality could be better. So especially when you try to change the hands, move the hands, or change the date, you can tell the movement is very sloppy. The quality is just not there, not to mention the finishing. So how do I use it? Well, this is my Clemson watch. I wear it when I visit my other alma mater. So I went to NC State and Clemson. This could be my other day and night watch along with my Citizen Eco Drive. All right, the next watch is one you've seen before. You've seen all of these hopefully on my channel. So this is my eBoard Diamonds Automatic. It's the same cost as the deep blue watch that you just saw. I've spent so much time in China that I wanted a watch that a businessman in China might wear, and this eBoard is the one that I settled on after looking at quite a few watches. The features I like is it has a day-date complication, and I will say the day is both in English and Chinese. It's fairly accurate. This one is -7 seconds after 1 day, which isn't too bad. It has a very good weight, so it's not as heavy as that Citizen watch that you saw, but it's a good weight. It has an attractive dial. Let me give you a close-up and see if I can give you a good picture of that. It has what I think are imitation diamonds on it, but it also has a lot of different patterns, geometric patterns on the dial that I think are attractive. And it's a very unique watch in the US. So this is a watch that you're going to have on your wrist, and I've never seen anybody else who had one. The things to improve is, the main thing is the loom. So it does have loom, but the loom is terrible. So I can't read this at night, hardly at all. Now this could be a good all-day night watch if the loom was better. It's probably the least worn watch in my collection since I'm not traveling to China as much. All right, the next watch is my first dress watch. Let me give you a close-up of it to start with. So this was one of my favorite watches, probably my favorite automatic watch up until my last purchase. Just to give you an idea, this cost around 2.5 times as much money as the deep blue and the eBoard. So the features I like, one is the leather strap, and let me show you this in detail. So the leather strap has a saying, "Without liberty, life is a misery," and it's made out of pig leather. And it's the only watch I've seen that had pig leather, and I really love the look and the color and the wear of that leather. So that's a strong positive. I like the gold tone case. As I say, gold looks better on my skin tone. It does have the date. It doesn't have the day though. It has a classic dial face and hands. But what's lacking, like I say, it doesn't have the day. It doesn't have any loom whatsoever, as it's a dress watch, and it's the least accurate of any of my watches. So that was a shock to me, but let me show you in a comparison of these two. Look at the second hands, and it's at least 17 seconds fast. So I use this watch solely as a dress watch, usually on Sundays. And finally, we have the Grand Seiko. Let me give you a close-up of that. And I wish I could do it justice, because Grand Seiko does such a good job with the dial faces, but I don't think you're going to be able to see it. But I'll just set it there and talk about it. I just did a review of this watch, and it's not getting a whole lot of exposure from YouTube, so I encourage you to go and look that video up. This is the end of autumn Grand Seiko. So it's part of a series that they have, and this one was from, I think, the fall collection, seasons collection for fall 2022. This is my first Grail watch. Let me see if I can give you a little better look at it. It's the most accurate automatic watch that I own. And it might be more accurate than even the electronic watches that sync with the radio signals. You know, those sync daily, but that doesn't mean that they're that accurate by the end of the day. That's something that I haven't really looked at. I think they're fairly accurate, but this one doesn't sync with anything, but it is extremely accurate. So things I love about it, and I tend to love this watch rather than just like. So things I love, one is the dial design, which I can't show you that well. You can look at pictures or look at the video of it, and I think you might see it a little bit better. Second is the overall quality of the finish. So the finish is fantastic, and Grand Seiko is known for that. Third is the power reserve indicator. Let me see if I can show you that. So there's an indicator. One of the hands is, the minute hand is covering it up, but that shows you how much power is reserved, and it has a total of 80-hour power reserve when it's fully wound, which is plenty for me. And then the other thing is the date complication. Now this is a dress watch, and so it's not the perfect all-around watch. One, it doesn't have the day complication, which I would like to have, and the other is there is absolutely no loom on it. Now this is my dress watch, although I will say I carry it to work fairly frequently because I like it so much. Okay, so that's 4 automatic watches, and I said I had one other mechanical watch, and so I'll get it out right now. It was in my pocket. It's the watch that I'm carrying today, and it's a pocket watch. Okay, and I'll show you the dial. It's made by Elgin. Let me set it down, something like that, while I talk about it. I don't know the price. I've tried to look it up. This was a high school graduation gift from my parents. They asked me what I wanted, and I said that I wanted a pocket watch. And so I've carried it for many, many years. I can remember carrying it when I was in my first job after college. And I usually carried it, well, I always carried it with a chain. And I stopped carrying it because during work, the chain kept catching on things and breaking, and then I'd have to have it fixed. And I finally decided to give up trying to carry a pocket watch at work and went to a wristwatch. I like it because it's retro. I don't carry it that often. I do carry it occasionally, I'll say. And I like the dial design. It's just very simple and classic. You know, I wanted to make a comparison because some people I've heard say that they see no purpose whatsoever in carrying a wristwatch. And I disagree with that because I think they have cell phones, and they say with a cell phone, they don't need to be carrying a wristwatch at all. But I think carrying a cell phone and reading your time off of a cell phone is actually taking a big step backwards in time. You're going back to a pocket watch era, because to tell the time back when I only had a pocket watch, I had to reach in my pocket, pull it out, read the time, and put it back. And now you do the same thing with your cell phone if you don't have a wristwatch. So I think it's much more convenient to wear a watch on your wrist, and it's also classier. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Y'all take care.